the Minerals Commission. It's still Breakfast Live on GTV. And we've been talking about local content and local participation when it comes to the minerals regulations for a very long time now. Today, we want to redirect the focus a little bit and talk more about community mining as well as small-scale mining. CEO of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Martin Ayisi, has joined us at the table once again. Mr. Ayisi, good morning and welcome.
Morning.
You can catch this interview across the social media handles of the Minerals Commission on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Just look for Minerals Commission Ghana. We are also streaming this live on Ghana Broadcasting Corporation's Facebook page, as well as our other social media platforms. Use the search button to look for GTV Ghana, and you will get this interview live. Mr. Ayisi, welcome back from your travels.
Tema, thank you. It's great to be here.
Great to have you back.
We also went to the field. Sometimes it's good to get to the field to see what is happening.
Mr. Ayisi, how did you miss Ayisi Juan's return to the country? I thought the Minerals Commission was the regulator monitoring even our fight against galamsey, speedboats given to some of your officers to aid in their operations. And this woman who was deported was back in the country all this while, and now she's been rearrested?
Well, let me tell you this. I don't think I have any information which says she was like doing some galamsey somewhere and she was caught. If I tell you I have any information, I'll be misleading the public. But Tema, for me, the most important thing that we have arrested her. So let us take her to the due process. Understand she's been remanded, so she'll be arraigned before court. All the other charges that were there earlier on will follow through. I think that's the most important thing, that she's been rearrested, or she has been arrested. So they will take her to court, and then they will follow the due process and then prosecute her. So we are watching, we are all waiting. That is what Ghanaians are expecting. But let her take her. Let her take her through our laws, our due process. That's what the law says.
Now
Yes.
we know that there is illegal small-scale mining and there is the legal small-scale mining. So the allegations against Ayisi Juan and her group are that they engaged in illegalities. But there are people who are doing things by the book, and there are people who are applying for licenses to operate mining at the small-scale level and even at the community level. How can we differentiate between small-scale mining and community mining?
Thank you very much. Yes, people have been asking those questions all the time. Let me start by saying this. There are two ways in which you can carry out mining activities in Ghana: large scale and what you just said, small scale. Community mining is small scale mining.
So they're the same?
Yes, it's the same thing. We don't give you any different type of permit, approval, authority to do small scale mining. It's just small scale mining. That is it. Then the question is, and then again, it's meant for Ghanaians. The question is, then why community mining? The whole idea is that, look, as much as possible, why don't those living in the community get involved? Okay, so the chiefs, people who are living there, etc. You organize them, give them a place to work, support them with the machine and necessary tools for them to work. Hence, community mining. Other than that, the application that is lodged, everything is just a small-scale mining license. That's what we give them. That's also the tag community mining is just to ensure or encourage as much as possible people living in the community do it. So at the end of the day, they can also say that, look, we also did this thing and then it benefited us. It has to be done properly. Okay? And then there is no way, it's important the public gets to know this. There is no way anybody can operate a community mining scheme without it being launched by the minister or his deputy. Okay? We need to come there, demarcate the place, ensure it is a place that you can mine responsibly within the law, allocate it, process the paper, and then take it to the ministry. You get the necessary documentation, and then allocate the place to you. We come and do proper launch, the chiefs, the assembly, everybody is involved. That is it.
You've developed an operational manual that's supposed to guide the operations of community and small-scale mining. How does it work exactly?
Well, the operational manual is like a checklist. So when you go to a typical, not those huts and those decrepit structures we've been seeing. So the manual essentially is to provide kind of a framework that will allow, will guide the whole process. I mean, the kind of structures you should have at the site. Office building, some kind of workshop, a car park, first aid. Even some of them have some mini clinic, okay? And then the working gear, changing room, all those basic things. And to be honest with you, those structures must be in place before we come and launch.
And it's mandatory for community and small
I brought
mining.
some document pictures and videos. I don't know whether you have captured them, then we can take you through them.
Okay, so we'll be seeing some of those pictures on our screens very, very shortly, and then Mr. Ayisi will explain what is happening in each case.
This is the machine that we are so grateful to the government of Ghana. You see, they took taxpayers' money.
What is this?
This is the gold catcher. Right. And this was brought to prevent the Aisha one kind of, excuse me to say, nonsense. You see, when you don't give this to the small-scale miner, he's going to bring the Aisha one type of people to come and give them this champagne and all those things to be mining. So government in this reason said, look, we've got to do something. So we brought about 100 of them. We've been distributing. Last week we were in Kenya, see. So this is the gold catcher. You don't use mercury. What the illegal, you can see how clean the whole thing is, if you can see from the screen. So this is the whole process. It's clean, water. So where there's no water, they sink borehole. Very clean. That's how it's supposed to be. Okay, so every small-scale miner can apply. We'll give it to you. They will pay over 2-3 years. And then every community mining site, we give them this
remember some were brought to the Black Star Square in Accra,
and then the president launched them. We are distributing them, and trust me, I mean, they are just taking them.
Are they for sale?
Yes, but it's work and pay. Because they will not be able to raise. So this is a typical launch done by the minister. So this is one. You can see the chief there. That's the minister. And that's the kind of thing we are talking about. Okay, yes. So that is a goal that you find. You will see it. That is, so you see the chiefs are involved. This is the kind of thing we are talking about. So this is somewhere in Asante Achim South, in an area called Tokwai. And you see most of the pictures, and then you see a typical site, how it should look like.
Okay, so the gold catcher is meant to help you to get gold using...
Yes, so the picture we saw earlier on was the Tokwai site. As it grows, I'll be explaining.
We've seen
the machine already.
That's the machine.
So it crashes mills and then, concentrate and then get a gold. In an environmentally very safe manner. All these things are in the manual. The other thing you also need to look at.
Okay, I think those may be all the photos that the team has, only 4 that we've seen so far. But you wanted to explain a certain process to us about how the small-scale mining setup actually works.
Yeah, so this is how it works. First, you can only carry out a small-scale mining activity in an area that has been designated for that purpose. So we call it blockout areas. We have designated all these areas all over the country. Or when a small-scale miner comes with his own area or coordinates, and we check and the place is good to go, we also designate it as a small-scale area. Then you go through the application process. Now everything is done online. In fact, you can practically do the application in a day. Yes, you do it in a day, do it in the comfort of your room, provided you have access to internet. Or if you still want to go to the district office, you go there, do the application. All that you need to be is just a Ghanaian. And then make sure that the place is okay. It's not somebody else's concession. Then the next thing we normally do is that the officer will have to take you to the ground for inspection. That is a must. He needs to take you there physically to go and inspect the site to ensure that, one, it's not a Ramsar site. It's not in an environmentally very sensitive area. It's not in an area that you cannot do mining or whether so sometimes the challenges we have with the small scale miners is that they think because the place is free. In other words, it is not somebody else's concession, you should allow him to work there. Again, it should not be close to the water body. So once the officer has a checklist, he will take you there and then tell you, no, you can't mine here, or this portion or this part is in a water body. So carve out this area. So we can only allow you maybe 10 acres. The other 12 acres or so is close to the water body. So once it's okay and it's good to go, he will just sign and certify it. And then he will upload it on the online portal. We will see it and we will process it and take it to the ministry. So it is very simple. So once that is done, you get your license, you go and work on the EPA, and then we will now ask you to put in application for the gold catcher. We'll do an agreement for you, and then we will bring it there. Transportation, everything is covered after sales service, etc. They come and mount it for you, and then you can work. If you're a normal, typical small-scale miner, lone ranger, that's okay. You can get your gold catcher, set it up, and do your work. Okay? But if it's a community mining scheme where so many people are involved, then we'll come and do the launch for you with the machine.
So here's an example of the community mining scheme.
Yes, so you see, this is...
From Takwa.
Yes, I mean, this is what the minister is talking about, and this is what we are talking about. So this is a typical community mining site. You see, he has his office. This is the entrance. He has put it there. We have inspected. Very beautiful. So this is the one in Asante Achim South. So this is like, this is his office. The one you saw earlier on is a washroom.
So all those structures have to be on site.
Yes, you have to have all these structures in place. Not just community mining.
A first aid.
So he has a first aid. So when there's some injury, they will take care of that. First aid. You see it. So this is what we are talking about, and Ghanaians need to know. So this is a typical, and this is happening now. This is a community mining site. Okay? And they have an attendant in the room there. So if somebody gets hurt. So this is what we are talking about. This is how a small scale, so this is the toilet. Okay? Then he has a car park. Now, I think this was far back as in April. It was good to go. We launch it. So by now, he's done the pavement and everything is looking very neat. This is what we are talking about. And we are supposed to replicate all these things across the country. Now, this is when they were preparing the grounds. Okay, so this is a small-scale miner, community mining. This is the office. And all these things are in the manner. So you need to have all these things in place before we come and launch for you. Whether it's community mining or somebody who, an individual person is taking a small-scale license. So that is it. This is their office. Small-scale mining.
I'm in a bit of a shock.
Yes,
because every
what we intend to do is
that I've seen of small-scale mining is of no structures to speak of, and it's probably on some water body somewhere, and that's when you know really that it's an illegal operation.
That is an illegal operation.
If all these things do not exist and you come across miners operating outside these spheres, then you know that there's a problem.
Now we have to do this now to take out the Chinese. That's an office. We give them time. In fact, in the next 2 weeks or so, we'll be launching about 5 more areas. So that is it. You must have an office, as you've seen on the screen. You have a changing room, first aid, etc. And then we allow 3 structures. It's not everybody who will have money to do the block ones we are seeing. This one is Takwa, Akun Community Mining. You can see the name, the Akun, and this is underground. Okay? It's not everyone that can do that. We also accept containers. If we don't show that, maybe next week when I come, I'll show that one too. We accept containers. Even the large scale people use containers. Okay? You go to Asanko and Co, they use containers. And then sometimes we also allow wood. What is important is that there is first aid, there's a changing room, there's an office, you have your gold catcher, you are filing your returns. So the accounts will say, and we are supporting them. Okay? We are supporting them to do all these things. We do the maps for them, we do all those things for them. So you give ourselves a year, 2, 3 years time, we'll replicate this all over the country. That's our job. So anything outside what I'm showing you now is illegal. So the security agencies will keep clamping down on people who are working the water body. Okay, decommission the chamfans, take them out from those who are close to the water body or any other these huts and co that you see. So this is it. And they've been able to do it.
And it's reserved for Ghanaians.
It's reserved for Ghanaians. When we continue along this trajectory or path, you don't need Aisha One and Co to come and do it illegally. That's what they were doing for them. They come in, give them the money, okay, and then the person will leave the site, and then the Chinese do whatever they like. It's not their country. So there are 2 things happening now. The security aspect where we need to preserve our, that's one the minister will tell you he will not compromise on that. Okay? We will have to make sure that we take them out of the water. We will have to make sure that they don't work close to the water body. We have a responsibility to ensure that you don't just set up any structure anyhow. So that is ongoing and it's an everyday thing. Boats have come, they are patrolling. Okay? They are still there working, but we will not sleep. Okay? But then whilst we are doing that too, we also owe it a responsibility to the people of Ghana to make sure that those who want to mine responsibly do so by following all these things that you are seeing. Next week, we'll show you more structures. We even have a video that will be rolling. Tema, let me tell you this. Small-scale mining is taking place in 13 out of the 16 regions, apart from Oti, Volta, and Greater Accra, even though mining, exploration, and production takes place in all the existing, to start with. There are between 3 to 5 million people in small-scale mining. So you can see the sheer numbers of job creation. When we do it very well, like the pictures and then those structures we are showing, we will go places. We will take this huge unemployment off our back. Trust me. There are more people in small-scale mining than even in cocoa today. Yes. There are more people. 13 regions. So we give ourselves 2-3 years. You see all these things all over the place. So that when you go out there and they say this is a small-scale mining, then that is it. So this is the kind of thing we are talking about. Accepted. You can see the place is even walled. They have their safety sign, gate, etc. This is quite expensive, but these guys are quite many. They are about close to about 400 people working there.
When it comes to small scale, you can have an individual who
applies. It works this way. Okay. Let me just lay the basis clearly. Any Ghanaian individual can walk into our offices and then can apply for a small-scale license. So today you can apply for a small-scale license.
Even without knowing a site or any gold producing.
Of course, you can't mine in the sky. So you can walk into our office today and say you want to do small-scale mining.
Okay.
And then we'll show you all the designated areas. And then you can apply for it. So any Ghanaian who is of sound mind and then of age can apply. Either an individual, now we are asking them to form cooperatives or associations. So an individual can apply. Then a group of people can come together. So you can say a Come-Yaya group, maybe about 20, put in an application, but you must have all your pictures and all your ID, etc. You can also have people who can apply as a company. For the community mining group, we normally encourage them to have as cooperatives or companies. So individual groups, association, cooperatives, company, all these are allowed. There are individuals who have small-scale license. So Martin Ayisi Enterprise, he has a license. They also do those structures. Okay? And then there are groups that have come together. And typically the community mining, there are many, anything from 50 to about 400 or 1,000.
You see, I asked this question about without knowing a site, because there are some who hold the view that you have to identify a piece of land or a property and then prospect and do all that. You are saying that that's not the case, and that if you apply for the license, the Minerals Commission is able to tell you at that point which site would be available for you to engage.
Now, let me tell you something. If you ask me, one of our biggest challenge that we have to deal with it, and we started in small-scale mining, is getting a place for them to work. You see, if you take the large-scale people, they put in an application, get a land, get a license, and then do what we call prospecting or exploration. Okay? And over the years, if they make some fine, they apply for an extraction right or a mining lease. That's how it works. Now, ideally or typically, what we should have been doing over the years is that when we designate these areas as small-scale areas, we should be exploring them. But over the years, we've not done that because of lack of funds. Now, government has given us some money. I'm telling the people of Ghana that government has given us money now, because that was our message, that we need money to do exploration. Again, too, fortunately, we have a whole institution that has a capacity to do the exploration, geological survey. So we've given them all the necessary tools. We have identified the blocks to do the exploration. So that is what we shall be doing between now and the next 4 or 5 years. And then we can now say, look, if you look at this block, the gold is here. And then we divide them into various blocks now and then pencil it and say, look, come apply for them. Other than that, for now, this is what is happening. A small-scale miner, an individual, an association or a group walk into our office and say, we have found this area. We want to apply for small-scale license or community mining. We have the support of the chiefs. And then we'll process it for them, take them to the field. If it's okay, we'll clear it, and then we'll do it for them. We'll even give them the machine. That is what is happening. Then the second one is where Commission itself has blocked out some areas. Then the small scale miner comes, do a search and say, I want this place. We'll do the same thing for him. And then what is now happening, or for the past 2 years, which is very good, is that the large scale people, when they do the exploration, they will tell you, we have found gold here, but it is not good enough. The quantity there is not what we want. I mean, they want it very big, but it is good for small scale. So they will give the grounds back to the Minerals Commission. It comes with a surrender report. So then we will say that this area now is designated as a small scale area. We know where the gold is. So recently, a large scale company gave us some huge area. We have just designated it, and then we've asked people to apply. So for now, most of the areas, again, AGC or Anglo Gold Ashanti, Obuasi Block, they gave us that huge land, about 70% of their land holdings. With all the reports, people have applied, they've taken them. You see? So the structures you are seeing there, they can now file the reports. We can supervise them. Our officers visit that place every time. And then there's one thing I also want you to know. There is no way we'll launch a community mining site without a chief knowing, without the district assembly. In fact, the ceremony is organized under the auspices of the district assembly. And then the chief of the area will preside. So the chief knows, the district assembly knows. And then there's a portion of the proceeds that goes to the chiefs, that goes to the assembly, and then the community. And then you are supposed to employ people from the community. That is the whole thing that we are doing. Yeah. And I have to say this. For our folks up north there, it is a game changer. Because you see, in the dry season, more often than not, they don't have anything to do. So some of them come down south to do typically what they used to call Ebunu Ebusa. But now, if you go to Bongo Swen like this, the chief will tell you, I'll show you their structure next week. He will tell you that, look, we can now work during January, February, March, throughout the year. And then when the rainy season starts, we'll go back to our farm.
How can people reach you, Mr. Ayisi, and the Minerals Commission, who are interested in some of these
Interestingly, the number I put out there, I think I misplaced it. So until I go and fix it, I'll give you my number now, my official number.
Okay.
People get surprised that a CEO puts his number on screen. But you see, we have to let people reach out. So 059 298 9751. Let me repeat. 059 298 9751. This is my official number. Okay, that's my mobile number, my official number. Anybody can call me and then reach out to me. And then we also put out in the newspapers the numbers of the various district offices. But when you call this, that's okay, I'll pick. Okay. If I'm not able to pick, you can send me. In fact, the best is to send me a WhatsApp message, because if somebody is calling me now, I'll not be able to respond. I can get back to the person after that.
As soon as you send the number,
it is very rare in this country. I'm doing something even people are criticizing me for. It is very rare in this country for a CEO to put out his official number on air, because we want to get things done.
And if you have any reports and complaints as well, you can send same to Mr. Ayisi and his team at the Minerals Commission Ghana. They're also standing by across their social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Minerals Commission Ghana. You can watch this whole interview on those platforms all over again. And if you have any reports to make, any inquiries as well, you can reach the Minerals Commission Ghana. Mr. Ayisi and his team will be ready to speak to you. His official number 059-298-9751. You can also send WhatsApp messages to that number. Mr. Ayisi, you've promised us a date about the courses people can read, especially at the secondary level, for skills to be able to get some mining and jobs, and we'll hold you to that promise perhaps later on,
so
actually,
that
we can know.
We're supposed to continue the skills discussion today, but I want us to reschedule it to the next 2 weeks, because next week I still want to focus on this small scale mining.
Right.
I'll bring you more structure. This time I'll tell you the location. Maybe this is Bongo Strain, this is Tokwai, this is in Elembele, etc.
So people will know and be able to
understand,
take advantage.
because I'm already seeing some messages here. People are shocked that small scale people can do this thing.
I am pleasantly
surprised.
In
fact,
I commend you and the team.
But for the minister, because the minister insisted that no, get the manual done and make sure that all these things are in place before I come. My minister is very particular. before you enter a small-scale site to go and launch a place, he will check. And a day before we move, he asks you, one, do they have the office in place? Are there even chairs? Do they have the washroom? Do they have the car park, etc., as you are seeing? Because when he gets there and these things are not there, trouble for me.
So, Honorable Samuel Abujinapo and his team getting high praise here for their activities when it comes to community and small-scale mining. Opportunities exist in that space for you to apply for a license to legally prospect for gold. There are sites already available, and if you meet the requirement, you have to be a Ghanaian and you have to apply and go through the processes. Then you will be permitted by the Minerals Commission to own a small concession for yourself, a group, a cooperative, or an association. And the Minerals Commission has always consistently made its support available to you via their social media platforms and also the official number for CEO Mr. Martin Ayisi here, who has sat with us at the table. Mr. Ayisi, thank you so much for your time.
I want you to add this. Any small-scale miner who is having any frustration with my office, district office, or whatever, they can call this number. We'll address the issue. It's the same thing. When you have a problem with Minerals Commission, you go and complain to the minister. Sometimes the minister will call me, this person has come to complain. Hey, can you explain?
So complain straight to
source. So I'm telling anybody who is having any challenge with his small-scale application license, just call the line or send me a WhatsApp message. I'll deal with it.
Thank you so much for your time. Our time with the Minerals Commission has come to an end for today. Make another date with us. Next week, they will be here to explain more about how you can take advantage of opportunities in the mining space to engage in legal small-scale and community mining. We want to continue the fight against galamsey. We want to continue to make sure that the water bodies are protected. And in the next segment, we'll be engaging the thoughts of a security analyst and also the convener of the Media Coalition Against Galamsey to talk about issues around the arrest of Aisha Juan and what it means for our collective fight against galamsey. GTV Breakfast.